Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, and I'm here with the Blu-ray DVD collection update. Not a massive one, don't have too much to say about this stuff, but this is some stuff I've purchased recently that I haven't really had the chance to put on the shelves yet. Because when I buy shit, I just usually just kind of stack it and wait for it to hit a certain number before I film an update. But this is a decent little haul I have here. But just get it started right away. I gotta start with the Blu-rays. First Blu-ray I got is the Blu-ray from Kino Lorber of Astro Zombies, the Ted V. Michaels classic. Probably Ted V. Michaels' most well-known film, I would say, because I knew about Astro Zombies since I was like 10 years old, and when I was 10 years old, I wasn't into the kind of shit I'm into now, or even when I was in high school. When I was 10 years old, I was, watching other shit. I was watching fucking anime, I think, but I knew that this existed. I knew that this movie existed because the title is kind of iconic. It's kind of catchy. There is a song by the Misfits that is literally named after this. It's a good song too. This is a pretty basic. I almost want to say bare bones release because legitimately there isn't even subtitles on this shit. And that's kind of like just like I know that that's not a thing that is necessarily hey but I like to have the option so that way if I'm watching something and somebody asks me to turn it down, I can still and I can turn it down to a low enough volume to where it won't bother anybody, and I can still watch the film just fine. And honestly, I kind of like to watch movies with subtitles a lot of the time, just so that way I can catch everything. But no subtitles on this for some reason. I don't know why. But it comes with a audio commentary from Ted V. Michaels himself, which I'm very interested to watch this with the audio commentary because Ted V. Michaels was a really interesting guy, and I really love him as a filmmaker. And I think it's cool that we got a commentary track on here. There's also the official riff tracks commentary that is included with this, which I think that's a pretty cool little bonus because, if you're into that sort of thing. Not that I don't like riff tracks. I love me some Mystery Science Theater, for example. I just haven't really gotten into like riff tracks because it's not really a like a show or something. It's more just movies released with this specific commentary. And there's also a commentary from a horror cinema historian in the trailer. Nothing amazing. The spine is like as boring as it fucking gets. The back is kind of boring. The only interesting part is the cover. And the disc is also really boring. However, this does come with reversible cover art, which I didn't expect. And kind of have a hard time deciding what cover to go with, because I've always really liked that Astro Zombies poster, but this one is the iconic one, and this actually makes it look like a good movie. So, you know what, for the sake of the video, we're gonna flip it. And if I feel like flipping it later, then I can flip it again later. There we go. Astro Zombies from Ted V. Michaels. Next Blu-ray I got is this was before Scream Factory. So this is a Shout Factory Blu-ray from 2013 of a Sam Raimi film from the mid-'80s called Crime Wave. This is a movie that had been on my list for a very, very long time. Like, I'm talking over 10 years because I've always wanted to see some of Sam Raimi's like lesser-known horror titles because I've always been a fan of the Evil Dead movies, and Drag Me to Hell was really enjoyable. So I've always been kind of on the lookout for other stuff that Sam Raimi directed. And this one isn't entirely a horror film. I think it does have some horror elements, but this is mostly like a weird kind of noir, dark comedy crime film. But it's really is this is really weird because they made this as a follow up to Evil Dead, and this did not make any money. Nobody saw it. Nobody cared. Uh, and I can kind of understand why. So this movie is like it's got that like pulpy kind of noir aesthetic, but with colorful lighting and like you know kind of colorful, interesting costumes. The visual aesthetics are really interesting. I think the camera work is cool. The effects, what there is of effects, is interesting. Um, Bruce Campbell is in this. Need I say more? It's just like a weird mix of like slapstick comedy, horror elements, and like Dick Tracy. That's what it feels like. And honestly, this is like one of my new favorite movies. After watching this, after finally getting around to it, I really regret not seeing this sooner. Um, After like I was halfway through watching it, and I immediately went online and bought the Blu-ray because I was enjoying it so much, and I was only halfway through it. And that has only happened to me with like one or two other movies in my collection. That being said, though, Crime Wave is really fun. This is an older Shout Factory release from like 2013. I don't know if it's going to go out of print anytime soon, but considering how long it's been out, I'm going to assume that either they like it's going to be it's going to keep going for a little bit, or it's going to be out of print soon. I don't know which, but I'd highly recommend picking up Crime Wave. The rest of these are like things I got from fucking Big Lots. So here's the thing, right? I don't really go shopping like super often. I don't really go. Well, I should say I don't go shopping at like Big Lots super often because it's not really like uh, a store that's like super common, and they don't really have as much as some of the other bigger stores. But either way, when I do go there, I like to have a look around because sometimes there's interesting stuff there that at these smaller stores, at Walgreens and stuff like that, where you can find some gems, not just when it comes to Blu-rays and DVDs, but things in general. You can find some interesting stuff at those stores. You just gotta go at the right time you gotta go at the right time during the right time of year, and you gotta know what you're looking for. And sometimes you don't even know what you're looking for. Sometimes you're just walking through and you find something interesting. And at Big Lots, they had a bunch of like fresh, like they had just stocked these shelves, like cheap ass DVDs. So I bought like a handful of them, and I'm just gonna go through them. And this altogether cost me like $20. This whole stack cost me $20. About $20. I think it was like 22. Either way, let's get into this. So, let me get this in the right order. Okay, so I was flipping through, and some of you may not know this, but I'm somewhat of a Star Trek fan. It's not like my favorite science fiction franchise necessarily, although I do prefer it to Star Wars. But either way, science fiction as a genre just isn't entirely my thing. But I've really liked Star Trek because I watched it when I was a teenager. When I was in high school, I watched the entire original series and most of Next Gen, and I really enjoyed both of them. As of recently, I've finally been, and I also watched the first two Star Trek movies. But as of lately, I've been getting back into it with some of my friends, and I'm discovering this is definitely a really interesting and cool property that I think some people kind of ignore or just don't really give the time of day because it's perceived as being boring. But honestly, that's whatever. I still think, and the thing is, and I'm not saying this isn't like, oh, Star Trek's underrated, because it's one of the biggest, science fiction franchises possibly ever. I'm just saying, some people won't give it the time of day because it's perceived as being more boring than something like Star Wars. So, but yeah, I've recently started watching the Star Trek movies, and I rewatched Wrath of Khan, and that one was still great. I finally watched Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, and I also enjoyed that one, although that one has some problems. And I also watched Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I still gotta watch the rest of them. However, I was at this Big Lots just kind of looking around, and they have fucking Star Trek 4 on DVD for like $5, and they had a few of the Star Trek movies, but they didn't have any of the ones that I'd seen already. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I like the Star Trek movies, but I don't like them enough to own them on Blu-ray, except for maybe Wrath of Khan. But either way, this is my first Star Trek movie in my collection, so that's something. But Star Trek 4 is like a weird. It's really stupid in a lot of ways, but that's what makes it really fun. It is essentially a like environmentalist science fiction film that's also a fish out of water comedy, a fish out of water time travel comedy. Um, and it's a great time. This one's really fun in a ton of different ways. I think the humor really lands in this one. There's some really great quotable lines. Um, yeah, yeah, this is a good one. This is a good film. I'm not going to give this a recommendation strictly because I'm a horror review channel, and also because that's the fourth movie in an entire franchise. So maybe we'll get around to that, recommending that when I see the other ones and get them. Something else I found, which I was kind of like blown away to see this at a fucking Big Lots. Not that this is like a Serbian film or anything, and I mean I don't even know if this film is technically like disturbing, but I'm assuming because of the director, because of what I've read about it, that it's at least a little bit more edgy than some of the other stuff they might be carrying at fucking Big Lots, is all I'm saying. But it's Takashi Miike's First Love. I haven't seen this one yet, but I grabbed it because it was $5, and I can now say I've bought a Takashi Miike film from a Big Lots, and I think that's a sentence I never thought I would say in my life. So I kind of love that I can say that now. Don't know too much about this one. This one's been on my watch list for a while, but like I do not even remember what it's about off the top of my head. I'm assuming it's probably a pretty violent kind of crime thriller. I'm gonna assume. Again, I completely forgot what this one was about, so we're just gonna go on to the next one. You're gonna hear that a couple more times because there's a few things in here that I completely blind about. I literally know nothing about, and all I'm going to do is just show the artwork and say the movie's name. Next we got The Gift, which is Joel Edgerton's. It also stars him, but this is one of his writer-director roles. I don't know if it's his. I don't want to say it's his debut, but like I remember there being some buzz about him directing this. It's a really interesting psychological thriller. I almost want to call it a horror film because it does get like disturbingly uncomfortable. Not necessarily in content, but in concept. Quite literally, the R rating on this says it's just rated R for language. So I'd say that should tell you all you need to know about The Gift. It's not a super action-packed movie, and nor is it like a super original film, honestly, because there are some films that have done stuff like this, but I still really like this one, and I haven't seen it since I first saw it, but I remember really liking it. So I'm I'm gonna have to give this one a rewatch. But I remember this one being a really cool movie, and this was like $3. So I mean, if you're at a fucking Big Lots, and the thing is, The Gift is a movie I would have bought on Blu-ray because I do like this film enough to buy it on Blu-ray. But I saw it for $3 on DVD. I will take the lower quality for something that cheap for a movie I actually think is quite good. Here we have Unsane, this was also $3. This is another film I never thought I'd buy at a Big Lots. Maybe a Walmart. Maybe, a Best Buy if those still have DVDs. I know that they like barely have any anymore. Either way, this was one from a couple years ago. This one's like shot entirely on like an iPhone, which that's like one of the things that like they tried to hype it up with, which that doesn't really matter. I mean, it's decently shot, but it's nothing like life changing. But Unsane is a pretty interesting one. I remember liking this when it came out, and like I can't remember when this came out. I think it was 2018, um, maybe 2019. Either way, this is like a psychological thriller, basically about a woman and her like ex-boyfriend is stalking her, and through some turn of events, I could not tell you because again I haven't seen this since I first saw it. Through a turn of events, she ends up in a psychiatric hospital, and the doctors claim that she signed herself in willingly, that there are documents that show so, and also one of the nurses looks eerily like her stalker ex-boyfriend. It's a very interesting little psychological horror film. Quite like this one. Would definitely recommend, at least based on my memory of it. And these last two, I literally have no idea what these movies are or if they're even good. But I grabbed them because they were $3 each, and these are fucking tartan Asia Extreme titles, which I wouldn't expect to find in a fucking Big Lots. Again, I'm saying these sentences I never thought I would say. Either way, the first one is a film. I don't want to like mess this up, but I'm gonna assume this is a Taiwanese film. It says country of origin Taiwan. A Taiwanese film called Silk. I have no idea what this is, no idea what it's about, but according to the back, it was an official selection of the Cannes Film Festival. So that has me thinking that this might actually be a decent movie. But then again, that movie Karen premiered at Cannes, or is going to premiere at Cannes. I forget when Cannes happens because I don't go there because I can't. But still, a fucking tartan Asian. They had like a bunch of like different fucking tartan Asian Extreme titles. I was like wowed by that. Like I was gonna grab all of them, but then I was like, I already got like some other stuff in here in this stack that I kind of are movies that I already kind of like. So yeah, Silk. Maybe I'll report back to you on that one. One of the other titles they had was The Booth, which is a Japanese horror film released under this label, and it's actually a really, really solid little J horror, film. It's not life changing, but it's definitely a pretty good one. They had that there as well for like $3. But yeah, Silk, and of course, let me just. Sorry about that. I got a fucking phone call. So yeah, let's just get on with this. We had one more left. Another Asia Extreme title. It is Acacia. I have again no idea what this is. I thought the cover kind of looked cool. Something to do with like an acacia tree. Like I don't know, sucking the life out of a family or something like that. And also for some reason this slip cover like is a side loader. It goes in the side? Like what the like just decide. You already have normal slip cases. Why do you need this sideways one? I have no idea, man. But that's it. That's it for the haul. That's all we're doing today. So yeah. Anyway, guys, this is basically Horror Reviews signing off. Peace.